living God says, I will do what is appointed for you to do. I'll do it through you. I'll operate through you. I'll sing through you. I'll speak through you. I'll do everything through you, but you got to show up with right-mindedness. You've got to love what you've got to do. And then you will begin to feel a supernal confidence, not in your little self. You feel a confidence that the Spirit of the living God has gone before you and prepared such a rich vibratory field, and that you're being used by the Spirit. It's operating through you. The conversation is high. The Spirit is willing. You're on this grand adventure of infinite potential. The genes within you, those designer genes held in the mind of God about your potential and your possibility, is now being activated and strengthened and revitalized, because you have become the living condition through which the seed ideas planted in within you before time began can now emerge. Oh, I hope you're getting this. We're talking about activating designer genes. We're talking about one spiritual perspective. This is why we say life is good. We're not ignorant about the fact that in the world of circumstances, there's some crazy stuff going down. We're not ignorant of the fact that there are younger brothers and sisters who have a limited perspective and hold the vibration of hate and bigotry and homophobia and don't care about people. We're not denying that our younger brothers and sisters have a limited perspective. Jesus simply said that the poor will be with us always. There will always be people that have poor in the spirit, poor, limited perception. We already know that. And they will produce at times climate of negativity and fear and doubt and worry and false scarcity and false lack as a belief and as an idea, and worry and doubt and, oh my God, ain't it awful, consciousness. We don't deny that. But through prayer and meditation, we develop the spiritual muscle and ultimately the facility to see that the presence is everywhere, untouched and tarnished by the limited perception of humanity. We live in that realm, the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty. We live in that realm, and then the rest of our being follows into that particular octave. We walk in an adventure every single day, loving what we're called to do. The Spirit of the living God does what is appointed for us to do through and ultimately as us. We begin to talk, and every time we talk, we realize that whatever it is we're saying, who we're saying it about, even if it's our self-loathing, putting ourselves down, lack of self-love and appreciation, or whether we're talking about others, the law doesn't differentiate. And the law of your being and your cells listen in, and you create the condition for disease and disharmony. If, in fact, you want to activate your designer genes, you claim that spiritual perspective. You stand as a warrior, as a spiritual warrior going on an adventure every single day. You have high conversation about potential and possibility. And the chemistry in your body temple will begin to produce such powerful chemicals that will renew and uplift and vitalize the body temple. The clarity of the mind will sing songs of jubilation and joy, and the path will open up before you, and you won't be able to take any credit for it, because it is already there before time began. You discovered it, you activated it, you talked it up, you believed it, you had faith, you had conviction until it took over your life. And then you'll have an ethical relationship with wealth. I want you to understand. As I was meditating yesterday, I started getting this information about an ethical relationship with wealth. And that is when you come to have this intimate at-one-ment with the Spirit, and you begin to be aware that wealth and abundance is everywhere, and everyone has equal access to it. And that you remove your attention away from materialism, and move your attention away from consumerism, remove your attention away from your wealth is coming from out there, and you begin to feel it in your own soul until it's activated in you. Now you understand what earned wealth is. Earned wealth is the wealth that's activated in your consciousness because you become aware that all of your needs are met. No one can give it to you. You have to receive it directly from the source. And unearned wealth is the wealth, the pseudo-wealth that is created by exploitation, created by stealing, avarice, and greed, much like the mortgage lenders and bankers did for many years, and then it blew up in 2007 and 2008. That's unearned wealth, and it creates a karmic impact of lack and limitation of the soul. But earned wealth is when you're able to have this direct contact with the presence, and you give yourself permission to be whole. You give yourself permission to be prosperous, but it's coming from an inner awareness that is already here, and you have access to it. And no one is better or worse than anyone. It's just access. And then it's ethical because you're not trying to get it from out there. You're not trying to be clever and manipulate people. You're trying to make yourself available. And then that song, that love, that beauty, that joy flows through you as a fountain of good, you see. So hear this in a slowed down way. Hear this. Just let this go in. Let the activation of this word activate you on a subliminal and on a conscious level that we are aligning ourselves with the grand design. And the design that God has for you in God's mind cannot be less than grand. It is beautiful. It is wonderful. It is magnificent. It is the song that Angel Travis was singing about. Regardless of what's going on in your life, you're still good. There's something about you that's magnificent. There's a grand design there. And you are here to activate the designer genes that are within you. We're talking about the designer gene, not with anyone else's name on it. Your name. That on the back of those designer genes, it says your name. Designer genes. Not a repeat, but a unique expression of infinite potential. Your perspective is becoming spiritual and eternal. We're not trying to heal the physical. The physical is a secondary causative factor from that which is held in someone's mind, a thought form. We're shifting our perspective. We're going on an adventure. Our conversation is matching the world we want to live in. And then we have an ethical relationship with wealth. We're in integrity with our soul. And whatever you demonstrate from that level, no one can take it away. Even if there's a temporary lack or something to that effect, it's in you, it's activated, it'll grow again, baby. If you take an apple from an apple tree, it's not bemoaning, oh my God, I'm missing an apple. Oh, I took all season to grow that apple, and somebody just came along and took it and bit it. No, the apple tree is saying, I got more. It comes from within, and the more I give, the more I live. Because those seeds will fall, and there'll be more apple trees and more apples. The more I give, the more it flows. You will not live in the consciousness of lack. That activation in you will begin demonstrating a permanent peace, a permanent prosperity, a dynamic wholeness. Oh, and you don't, as a son or daughter of God, you don't want to live less than that. You do not. If you could, now you can't. You do not want to embarrass the presence. You didn't want the presence to say, that's not my child. No. Ooh, not my fault. No. Presence of God is seeing the good in you. See the good in you. Presence of God is seeing the good in you. You see the good in you. Presence of God is seeing the good as you. You see the good in you. And then you remember what Meister Eckhart says, and it applies to you. He said that the eternal has begotten but one son, but the eternal is forever begetting the only begotten. Do you understand what that means? The presence of God begot but one son, but the eternal is forever begetting the only begotten. In other words, God can only produce the one son and daughter. That one son and daughter is within everyone. It didn't create one person to say, that's the Son of God. The eternal is forever begetting the only begotten in you.